Hi, everybody. This is day 1682. 1682. The days are just adding up, right? The days are just adding up. Um, it just makes you wonder what $37 trillion buys you, right? A lot of fraud, waste, and theft. A lot of fraud, waste, and theft. I think that's what that bought us. And I don't want to be negative because a lot of positive things are happening. But when I count down the number, when I count off the numbers, count up the numbers, 1,681 days, and since Richard was brutally murdered in the line of duty on Fort Bliss, which was absolutely confirmed by the Department of State, killed in the line of duty on Fort Bliss. And of course, they always have their little way of saying things. And we know because of the unbelievable amount of evidence that we have that he was brutally murdered. We know because Major General Bernabe, remember him? We got the phone call. Hey, did you know that Bernabe is at the Afghanistan mock village looking for Richard's remains? Really? Okay. Yeah, thank you, Anicia. Remember that Christmas 2020. We'll never forget it. And we absolutely knew because of the meetings that we held with him and him lying to us about Nadal Baim. He lied straight to our face about Nadal Baim. He lied straight to our face. And of course, they lied to us about the Borstar canines because the Borstar absolutely had a positive hit. We know that now. They twisted me. It's just unforgivable. So we know they had a positive hit, and we know with the autopsy reports, we know through Jaime Corona, we know through the Department of State, we know Nadal Baim, we know more witnesses. More witnesses are coming out all the time because there's a new sheriff in town, and his name is President Trump. His name is President Trump, and people can read the tea leaves. They absolutely understand. Like, here in South Carolina, what do you call it when you do capital punishment? Here, you have a choice. You can do lethal injection, or you can do it by firing squad. And upcoming very soon, we're going to have the first firing squad in many, many years. So people are posting that. So there is a death penalty case here, and they will be put to death by a firing squad. That's amazing, just amazing. And the people that are involved in Richard's case, the level of crime that they have done, and this needs to be really understood. First and foremost, this crime got so out of hand because they were targeting President Trump. Okay? All of the evidence shows that. Their hatred for President Trump, their absolute uncontrolled hatred, is what put the crime out of this world. The level of crime that they did, absolutely did, is first and foremost, all of it was to target, to stop, to interfere, to do whatever they could to ruin President Trump. And I wish I could just say, oh, it is all about my beautiful hero son. Was he a hero? Absolutely. Was he a beautiful son? Absolutely. But he teamed up with President Trump. He teamed up. And what do I mean by that? He was corroborating the need for border control because his reports were absolutely about the criminal trafficking. And his criminal complaints, his reports, his whistleblower reports came first, came before the Walmart mass shooting because there were audits. The motive for the Walmart mass shooting, because we know that Patrick Crusius absolutely did not do this on his own, that he did not plan this, okay? That this was a orchestrated, premeditated criminal group, cartel, military, and I would say the Mormon congregation. The three common denominators with this criminal group is that they're either connected to the cartel, they're either connected to the military, or both, cartel, military, or they're connected to the Mormon congregation there. Okay? This is a common denominator. This is like if you want to put people up in front and say who was involved, those would be the common denominators. That is what the evidence. This is not me. This is just investigative evidence, people coming forward, the whistleblower. When Judge Roger Rodriguez gave us those names on January 2022 to inform us, to notify us that he had filed a whistleblower complaint to multiple agencies and institutions and individuals because he knew that something was very wrong in El Paso, that the agencies could not be trusted, that he had to, this is what we were told, that he had to place his whistleblower complaint, he had to send out to multiple agencies in his official capacity so that they would each know that he was very serious because the complaint was that a CID agent on Fort Bliss was involved in Richard's murder case and tampering with Richard's file in connection, giving unauthorized access to Leilani Hart to tamper with the file. And also in a intimate relationship with her, which for a married man, CID agent is not allowed. And of course, Leilani Hart, who has many aliases, the mother of Dallas Hart. And Dallas Hart is Richard's platoon leader. And he is the prime suspect in this case, in this murder case. And who is he? A pilot, Um, and the other thing too, um, is when they're connected to the military, it seems like they have 100% disability paychecks. So what does that mean? Okay, if you're Mormon congregation, if you're military and you're 100% disability paycheck, which could be over $5,000 a month, and you are connected to the cartel, um, you know, that gives you so much free time, right? I mean, uh, most of us, we have to go to work because we have bills to pay. Um, when that kind of um, access, that kind of financing, that kind of connections um, allows you to participate in these criminal activities. And and they did. And they did. So that all needs to be investigated. But that's the three common denominators is 100% disability. And I do know I was notified, and I want to thank everyone out there um, for sending me that notification that President Trump now is planning on firing. I guess the word fire is the right way to say it. 70,000 VA workers. 70,000 VA workers. And we know that there was a lot of nonsense going on in the VA, that they were not taking care of our veterans, that there was a lot of sexual cult nonsense going on in our VAs, that there is a lot, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of fraud, waste, and theft, and giving our 100% disabled veterans a very bad name because of the fraud, waste, and theft. Every 100% disabled veteran needs to be investigated. Again, I'm serious. And I hope you're very willing out there, the ones that are disabled, absolutely willing. I know my dad was a disabled veteran. I know that he would have been very, very willing to be vetted again for that kind because the fraud, waste, and theft in the Veterans Administration giving away veterans' disability benefits to undeserving or unqualified, I guess that would be the best way to say it, unqualified individuals, maybe as a bribe, maybe as an incentive, because of all the benefits you get when you're a 100% disabled veteran. That is, the preferences you get, the tax benefits that you get, the payments that you get, and more and more. And that should be for, very, very vetted to keep it honorable. And it is, really, my Oma would call it a hemshu. It is a huge stumbling block. And if you have someone in the Veterans Administration that are up to no good and connected to all of this, that is a mighty powerful purse to wield and to um, potentially abuse. Um, Especially when you're up to no good. So that is, it is really something that we're very happy to see because of everything that we know. And I wish I could share more, because this involves some of the highest ranking. It really is a tool to do a lot of evil, but it was meant to do a lot of good. Wait, the Mormon church makes $5,000 a month at 100% disability. Holy cow. Yeah, if you're a 100% disabled veteran, Leilani Hart is a 100% disabled veteran. She worked as a dental assistant, and she receives over $5,000 a month. I think it's like $5,300 a month, and then she doesn't have to pay property taxes. In El Paso, that's a big deal when you get 100% um, discount on your property taxes in El Paso, because El Paso property taxes are some of the highest in the country. And of course, many other benefits and privileges, especially with hiring. You get privileges with hiring too. And it is, and it's not just her, it's many. It's many. And it is a common denominator in this group, in this criminal group. The common denominators, again, are that they're 100% disabled veterans. Um, I can tell you right now that I can tell you many of them that are disabled veterans, and it doesn't seem that they're disabled, okay? Just to let you know. Um, um, and, so I know it just smoke comes out of your ears, because those benefits are really meant for our heroes, right? Those that are really maimed. Um, Smoke just comes out of your ears. It's terrible. And yes, the common denominator are that they are absolutely a member of, or prior member of, or connected to the Mormon congregation. Um, Even the lawyer, right? Felix Valenzuela is part of the Mormon congregation, and he was Patrick Crusius's, or he is one of Patrick Crusius's lawyers, and he has absolute connection to this criminal group, um, and up to no good, and up to no good. And we haven't mentioned him too much because of Joe Spencer's such a criminal, right? Joe Spencer is such a criminal. Um, but it's all going to come out. And the other common denominator is that they're very connected. Most of them are very connected to the Sinaloa cartel. Some of them are connected to the Juarez cartel. So if they're not connected to the Sinaloa cartel, they are connected to the Juarez cartel. Um, they are absolutely connected to the cartel. You can't operate in their criminal business in El Paso. Really, you can't. The Sinaloa cartel have such a control um, over the criminal trafficking, and how they money launder, right? It's so big there. And the banking, right? The banking, which brings us to, you need to have someone that's very connected to banking, and you need to have a cyber hacker. You need to have security cyber experience. And, I can list four real quick that have absolute cyber experience, that are part of this case, that are up to no good. And that is, and really, they're, not dummies, okay? Really experts in what they do. And I would say Michael Maiella is one of the top ones. Michael G. Maiella Jr. He's so good. He was number one in the cyber hacking award from, um, I think it's Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Um, and I'm not, I don't want to be 100% on that. I'm doing everything by memory. Um, but I am 100% sure that he was number one. He won first place in the cyber hacking. And of course, was um, part of the cyber tech people in the district attorney's office with Jaime Esparza, and of course, James Montoya and Anthony Aoun, um, and Priscilla Mata. So, and more, and there's more, during the time of the Walmart mass shooting. Also, Michael Maiella was working for Walmart um, security, and also was in the FBI field office there in El Paso with um, Eddie Nieto, Jesus Eddie Nieto Jr., who absolutely leaked Judge Roger Rodriguez's. It was so bad. He leaked the criminal complaint that was given to the FBI field office there about the tampering of Richard's case, and he leaked it to the very individuals that were named, Leilani Hart and CID agent Tavita Nusa. And not only the nature and contents of the criminal complaint, but also his name. His name. So Eddie Nieto whose wife works in intelligence on Fort Bliss. Fort Bliss Intelligence, I'm not joking, in total connection with Bradford Bugado and Nadal Baim. Bradford Bugado being the lieutenant colonel of the 32nd AgCom, and his father-in-law, Nadal Baim, who, remember, they have found Richard's remains, and it's a secret. And it's a secret that I'm FBI, that Nadal Baim. So, they're all connected and up to no good. And they have to, the money that they trafficking make and everything with all of their schemes, criminal schemes, they have to money launder, and they money launder through businesses. And then they have to have a bank. And, you know, uh, Michael Maiella's sister, Alexis Maiella, is married to Patrick Crusius's brother, Brian Blake Crusius. And Brian Blake Crusius is a smarty. He's a real smarty, He has, I think he was working for Ernst & Young, banking, accountant, very clever computer, has a lot of experience and all of the finances for the computer and everything like that. He's absolutely up to no good because he absolutely has mitigating evidence for his brother, but he allowed his brother to get 7,000 years in prison with a fraudulent case, marrying the daughter of the court manager, right? The court manager, and allowing federal judge David Campos Guadarrama to have these conflicts of interest and allow a quid pro quo with the media. Since El Paso Matters, Bob Moore absolutely knew. El Paso Matters absolutely knew because they published a story on July 29th of 2020. And that's how we found out. That's how we found out through this little mysterious story. Um, and when we looked into it, you could hardly believe it. You could hardly believe it when it came out to be the Maiellas. And and then to and we only thought, okay, it's a romantic. No, they're married, and brother son, Junior Michael Maiella Jr. Um, you know, plays a very pivotal role in the DA's office and Walmart security and the FBI. And I would even say at the courthouse, at the federal courthouse, because he's very, I mean, I'm old enough to know that when you meet someone that's very good with computers, they're very needed, right? They're very dear. They're very valued. They're very valued, and you do not hesitate at all if you're the father and you have some kind of computer need to tap your son, right? Um, so I would say that judicial system has been totally compromised by this situation, totally compromised, and that includes Richard's case. And yeah, we're getting word back that, well, we've told everybody what we have discovered. So, and that happened late at night. Oh my gosh. It was really late at night. Sometimes I get on here, look, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning now. Um, because information comes in and we take a look at it and it gets very late. So we're working behind the scenes all the time on this, which um, it seems like it's just beginning. Even though we've been doing this for 4 years, it seems like it's just beginning. We've collected all of this information, but we still have to have the investigations, the true investigations, and the arrests, and also then the hearings and the trials and the court martials. That also needs to be done. And then we need to have our sentencing, and then we need to have the sentencing, and hopefully we will have some capital punishment in this. And it's because it has to be. The crime is so egregious, y'all. The crime is so egregious. It's so treasonous. It's so brutal. Um, that it not only hurt so many people, including Richard, terrible, but also the fraud, right? The fraud, the theft, the abuse of power, the attack on a president of the United States, the targeting of a president of the United States, the targeting of a whistleblower soldier, the targeting of a judge, the 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 targeting of children. Think about the hundreds of thousands of children. And I posted this morning, it seems like ages ago, but what El Paso is happening right in El Paso is that they're closing down buildings, and they're going to lay off a lot of ISD school workers, right? School workers. And it's like, okay, why are they doing that? And then you look into it, and there was some criminal reports that were being covered up because the ISDs were skimming money, right? They're making money by hiring beautiful, luxurious charter buses every day to cross the border into Mexico, pick up Mexican students of all ages, bring them over to the United States, and put them in our schools over here. Now, I don't think that makes property taxpayers happy, because the property taxes, with more and more students, the prices of your property taxes go higher and higher. And then, of course, federal funding and everything. It is highway robbery of the American people to educate foreign nationals, right? Then at the end of the day, put them back on the luxurious bus. Really, those really nice buses with even the bathroom in them, the little WC in them. Yeah. And then cross back over the border and take them home. Now, I think a lot of American parents would like to have something like that for their children, right? Maybe some do, I don't know. But the problem is we are last for quality of education. Last. So this is a fraud. This is a scam. This is theft. This is what this is. And it's because they're getting these, I don't know if it's through their high salaries, because I know one that's getting over 200,000. I'm like, how is that happening? How is that happening? Right? And it's not a teacher. It's not a teacher. So, you know, they're using children and students, because some of them are in high school, right? Students, some of them are young adults. They're using them to extort them, they're just using them. And they're not even giving them quality education. They're not giving them quality education. We know that because our scores are last. So let me read some of these comments. I'm getting a lot of comments. Thank you, Anicia, for coming on. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you for your prayers and your love. And yes, no mass. Yeah. No, all I know is from Mama Halliday. I'm in Philadelphia, a veteran. Is the first part of my first and last name. Oh, okay. Mass. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And Noelle, that's my granddaughter's name. Just like that, spelled just like that. And she's so beautiful. So it's a beautiful name. And oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I can tell you. And yes, Danielle, I stand for no more BS. I'm tired of it. I was reserves 4 to 13. Nothing to hide here, my dear. I want justice for the wrong. Yeah. Praying for justice for Richard and the family. Yes, absolutely. And not, we can't forget Glendon Oakley Jr. We can't forget the victims in the Walmart mass shooting. We can't forget what they've done to President Trump. I don't care if you like him or not. I'm going to tell you right now, our evidence, they are absolutely insane hatred for him. Insane. So much so that they will carry out a mass shooting. They will put everybody at risk. You see, they put their whole family at risk. They put Patrick Crusius in this, right? As the patsy. Think about it. When I went on the post, the soldiers were shaking when I got there in 2020. They were absolutely shaking. And Command Sergeant Major Jake Jakovitz, he was shaking so hard, right? And he's totally up to no good. Matter of fact, I think a person that he knows, like the top military, I have to look at that article again, was arrested for DUI. And he was working along with, as a retiree. Who was he working with? with Jake Jakovitz, with the command Shaky Jake. I call him Shaky Jake. And he wanted to tell us, I got to tell you something. I got to tell you something. He wanted to tell us. He had plenty of opportunity to tell us because we were out on the street. He had to show up to some of our rallies. He could have told us, right? He knew they had found Richard's remains. He knew. He knew it was partial remains. He knew it was brutal. He knew. He knew it was cartel. He knew all that. You can find a way to be a hero and protect your family. You can find a way, even if you're anonymous. You could slip a note. You could, whatever. We went out to eat together. He could have slipped us a note. He could have written it in invisible ink. I don't know. He could have done something, right? He could have done anything. But he's up to no good, and he needs to be held accountable. And he's the one that told us with glee. I'm going to tell you this. Absolutely. He was so happy to tell us that they brought in the girls during the lockdown, right? Because of the mandates, because of that time. You know how crazy 2020 was, and 2021. He told us he was very happy about it. And I was like in horror, not because of the mandate, but because they were setting those girls up to be hurt. It's like this Democrat Party right now, with the men in sports. They're setting them up to be hurt. Their insanity, what they wish was reality, is not reality. And we have plenty of injuries to prove it. We're different. We're not less. Women are different. We're not less. We're absolutely beautifully made, and so are men. And we're different. Thank God. And they're just insane. And he was glad to extort these young girls. And these young girls were young, y'all. They were so young. And I think they did it on purpose. Because if you bring in young girls during a lockdown with substances and alcohol, it gets pretty messy. And a lot of phones record. A lot of phones record. And you can use that as blackmail. And this is what was going on. There was a lot of blackmail. And so, and I was told that over and over again. They were extorting the soldiers every which way. And the soldiers were absolutely out of control because there was no SOPs being followed. The guns were in the barracks. The substances were in the barracks. The alcohol was in the barracks. The girls were brought in to party in the barracks. And that was told to me with glee from the command sergeant major, Jake Jakovitz, Shaky Jake. But at that moment, he wasn't shaking. He was happy. He thought he was doing something really good. It's like, what the hell? And, if these are 13, 14-year-old girls, and they're filming them. And then if they want to report, like the weapon smuggling or the ammunition is big, really big. They were smuggling the ammunition, y'all. They were taking it. And that's a national security threat, a national security risk. And what was Veronica Escobar doing? Nothing. Nothing. I shouldn't say nothing. She was making it so they could do it even more. She was absolutely making it so they could do it as much as they wanted. And in order to do that, you have to have computer hackers. You have to have someone that's in the military that has control a situation, maybe someone that goes green to gold, maybe someone that turns into a platoon leader. Even though they might have a criminal past and be not qualified for green to gold, but if you're a cartel and you have connections and cartel are they're in suits and they're in uniforms and it's not like you can tell the difference between them with others. No, they're in disguise, very good disguise, and so and human resources absolutely human resources needs to be raked over because human resources absolutely plays a huge role in placing these people in these very important roles and getting green to gold. Even though you really don't have the record for it, um, and then it's all this privilege. It's privilege with the media too, right? You see the privilege with the media. You'll get a story. Oh, look at me. I'm such a success. And they're total criminals. Total criminals. I'm talking about Texas Hart. He's in the news right now, and he's a total criminal. Um, and and they glorify it, right? They glorify it because it's connections, and they will ruin people like President Trump, tell lies, or um, key whistleblowers or whistleblower soldiers. They'll just absolutely do a smear campaign. And we've had to debunk everything they were putting out with Richard. And they have no decorum, no no respect for America, for our military, no respect for our military. They are absolute brutal criminals. And so therefore, I don't know if Texas has I know they have the lethal injection. I don't know if they have the firing squad. We do. And this one death row inmate has chosen the firing squad. But what they've done is absolutely the worst type of crimes. And Veronica Escobar has a lot to answer. Absolutely. Did you see she walked out of the speech and she um oh, I can't stand his lies. And all she is a liar and manipulator. And I can tell you right now, I've been on the other side of these lies. So I absolutely 100% can say it. 100%, especially after the the mountain hike, and more and more. She is absolutely a she's in disguise. It's like I need to do that meme where you take the hat off of her, or take the hood off of her, take her mask off, and you'd see a very dark, ugly, ugly, ugly orc. So yeah, these people are absolutely up to no good. They're absolutely part of cartel, part of narco politics, part of the Mormon congregation, or part of this military 100% disabled group. Maybe they're, only 90% disabled. I don't know. But yeah, that keeps them going, right? Because they don't want to lose that. They don't want to lose that. It's a huge benefit. Illegal, absolutely illegal. Immoral, absolutely immoral. Anti-American, absolutely. But that's how they're doing it down there, and it's creeped even into. So it's creeped into the justice system there. It's creeped into the law enforcement community. It's creeped into um, the military. It's creeped into the ISDs, and they have to have people that, because today's world, especially with the AI and everything, and one day I'm going to do a whole podcast on the AI, um, but how that is all necessary. You have to have the cyber hackers, Michael Maiella, right up there. He's it. He's the cyber hacker. But also Jonathan Caleb Ambriz, Danae Katz's husband. Danae Katzen targeted us, she brought us to KTSM and all that, tried to interfere in the case. Well, she did interfere in the case, right? She interfered in the case. She's, they've targeted her and Jonathan now. And Jonathan Slavitt's part of this, right? Jonathan um, Slavitt was in Richard's unit. This all, of course, um, Jonathan Ambriz, Caleb Ambriz, they're connected to KTSM, right? They're connected to Bliss Avenue. They're connected to KTSM. They're all family and cousins, whatever, they're all there. But he is a West Pointer. A lot of people don't know. Um, Jonathan Ambriz is a real smarty. His education was very privileged, um, and he is very, very good with the computers, very good with investing, good with the businesses, with the LLCs. So you have, like, with Brian Blake Crusius, the accounting and the banking and all that. You have the absolute cyber hacking with Michael Maiella. You have the security, the military security ability with Dallas Hart. And then you have the LLCs, which are very necessary for um, the money laundering, right? The money laundering with Caleb Ambriz. Something went wrong with Caleb, with Jonathan Ambriz and his wife, Danae Katzen. Something went wrong because they've absolutely been targeted. We checked it out. How many times does a person go on the 10 most wanted? Well, Danae's just won that award hands down. 4 times, 5 times she's been on the 10 most wanted. That's unheard of. Normally you're on once, that's it. You're a fugitive. She's a fugitive right now. I The word that we got is is um there's a reason. There was a break and all of that, and they were targeted. And of course, who's targeting those two? And it is KTSM. They're very family members. I think they want to protect their backside, right? Their backside. And of course, Fit Fam El Paso, which we own the name, the LLC. That's a whole nother story. But um, yeah, it's going to be. This is just the beginning, y'all. That's um, there's so much work to be done. And do I wish it was over? Absolutely. I want to see these people get punished very swiftly. And I'm really happy that President Trump is swift right now. Not fast enough for me, though. Can you go a little faster, President Trump? Can you go a little faster, Kash Patel? I need it a little. I want it fast. I want it fast because the longer we wait, the more people get hurt and the more fraud, waste, and theft happens. And that's why your shares really mean a lot. Um, because this is really the battle is with the people, because this is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And so the people need to know what's going on. And that's why I get on every day, um, and let everyone know uh, that this is absolutely real. This level of corruption, this level of crime is very, very real. And of course, El Paso is the front door of the United States. Um, and so it's a very important geopolitically, it's very important. And we need to clean it up. We need to clean it up. And absolutely, California and Chicago and New York and all of that. But El Paso's a front door. We need to clean up our doorway. Absolutely. And it's our, I think Fort Bliss needs to be shut down, to be honest with you. I think that geopolitical area is too much of a temptation for trafficking our equipment, our weapons, and if we put stockpiles down there of all of that, it's such a temptation for so many. And we all know that we have larceny of the heart, right? We have larceny of the heart. We have to fight that. So to have a big military installation like Fort Bliss that has really no purpose there, they have no mission. You know, it, they just don't have any mission. And I was born at White Sands. Um, there's no need, and there's so many tunnels. See, this is the thing that when I first said it, they were like, "Oh no, there's only like one tunnel or whatever." And I said, "No, I know there's a lot of tunnels because I was born in that area. My dad worked right there on White Sands at McGregor Range in the silos. He knows Fort Bliss. I used to jog Fort Bliss all the time with my dad. I used to jog. I was, swimming at um, the big replica pool there when it was a Olympic size pool. I had the best coach ever, CJ. I went to school there. Um, so and I would go over the border all the time. I went over with my mom and a friend and my grandmother. My grandmother bought sombreros, um, some tequila, the tequila with the worm at the bottom to take back to Germany to give my uncle a sombrero and some tequila. And on the way back, uh, you know, uh, the van blew up. The van blew up. Oh, right there at the border. We were just, the back of the van just blew up. And it was one of those VW vans. I think you probably could find a news article with that in there. Maybe they did a news article on the van that blew up, and I think it would be what year was that? Because I was in high school, so in the 1980s, early 1980s. Um, yeah, the van blew up, and and there's amazing people around us that had extinguishers, and they saved the sombreros and the tequila. For my grandmother was so happy because we had to pull her out. It was just, oh my gosh, what a So we have this history there in El Paso, and I don't think Fort Bliss needs to be there. No. Uh, After hundreds of thousands of children went through the death camp, I'm hearing that, maybe 70,000 they found now alive. But we're talking about over 500,000. This is the number that we're hearing. The big number was like 300 and what was it? 25,000, 325,000. We're hearing it's over 500,000 now. Um, after all of that, and the weapons and all the drugs and the girls and with the cartel and all of that, it's it's unnecessary. If we can always uh, bring troops to the border, right? And like we're right now with the what do we have, like 12,000 down there right now? Maybe it went up. I think that with the striker units, I think it's going to get kinetic because of the years and years of smuggling. I think the cartel are absolutely loaded and trained, because even our military are said to have trained the cartel. Um, that they're loaded with weapons, yeah, and equipment. And so I think it's going to be. I think we're just starting right now. It's um, they're going to protect. Look at what they did. They were willing to kill people brutally in order to keep their schemes going and their enterprise going. And so I think that they're going to, I don't know, this, it's going to be interesting with President Trump. He's masterful, and I know that he really likes Patton, but he really likes MacArthur. And, when you're talking about strategies with generals, there's no better strategist than General MacArthur, right? So, in my opinion, anyway, unless you go further back in history. But so, it's going to be interesting to see what all happens down there. But we are absolutely amazed at what we've exposed. We had no idea, no idea, no idea. This has been such an education. I feel like I need to have an honorary degree after this, an honorary degree. This has been such an education. I had no idea. Um, Beautiful El Paso. I've always lived up. I was so excited when Richard was going to El Paso. I had no idea of this level of criminality that had crept in. And I guess I was naive. I did not realize. I knew people were evil, but this is just like takes the cake, right? I mean, they're so evil because they've really done. They've given a lot of bad people access to children, and a lot of bad people access to weapons, and of course, sold into our country so much fentanyl, and fentanyl laced in all kinds of other substances. They are really a terrible organization. I'm not allowed to say that the Sinaloa cartel have been designated a T organization. I have to say terrible organization because, maybe I'll get shadow. I'm shadow banned anyway, but, that's why your shares really, really matter. People need to know this is not a right and left matter, even though the left are really insane right now with how they acted the other night was just like, really, really, come on. And I've been advocating for Yvonne Rosales, who's a Democrat, and I'm not real happy with Governor Abbott, or Hicks. They were Republicans. Romney, no, no, he's so bad, y'all. He's so bad. So this is not and our representative Graham, really, really, no, I don't have any good words to say about Graham. Sorry, none about Senator Graham. Or our representative William Timmons. He's also a Republican. So, yeah, we have a lot of work to do on the Republican side. But that was insane. Was it last night or whatever? With the Democrats are just absolutely. And the day before, they're all wearing pink because they want to advocate for women. But then the day before, they were allowing men to be in women's sports to beat the hell out of them. Literally injure them. Um, yeah, they're insane. They're insane. So This is not about picking sides. This is about being American. This is about uh, fighting crime, organized crime. That's what this is, organized crime. So that really was in our military, y'all. Is in our military. We need to have court martials. So thank you so much. God bless you. And you've got those four, and I'm not saying they did it. I'm not saying that Michael Maiella, Dallas Hart, Jonathan Ambriz, and uh, Brian Blake Crusius, participated in all these crimes. Well, I am saying it about Dallas Hart. He's a prime suspect in our son's murder case, right? He's a prime suspect. Um, but, I'm talking about all these like cyber crimes and things like that. I'm just saying it's very interesting when you have one that is like the cyber hacker, one that is the cyber security, and then the one that is cyber banking, and one that is cyber business. Um, it's very interesting, you know. Um, yeah. Okay. Let me read anything here. Make sure I read all of them. A congressional hearing still needs to be held. Yes, that is the biggest crime that Veronica Escobar has done. That is her role in getting a congressional hearing about the criminal law magistrate court, about our son's case, about the Walmart mass shooting case, about so many things, and she hasn't done it. That tells you that she's complicit. She's up to no good. Thank you so much. But our government um, is getting to cut for foreign student education. Yeah, well, I think it all needs to be vetted. There's so much fraud right now, and they're using. Remember the Chinese guy that just got arrested for smuggling weapons from Texas. I'm sure they came from Fort Bliss. Not only weapons, but ammunition and all the military equipment and everything in tactical move storage units. And he was shipping them to North Korea from California. He came over on a student visa. See, he came over on a student visa. Um, and the one thing about living overseas and traveling so much and being very international, our family's very international, um, is I want to tell you there's no place like the United States. We are so intertwined with one another, and we are so accepting of all kinds of people. And that is not the case anywhere else I've been. Nowhere else I've been. So, of course we have our problems, right? But we are so diverse, and it's just beautiful how diverse we are. Um, and we want people to come from all over the world. We've always been that way. But right now, we're under attack. We're under attack. And I think we need to be vigilant. I don't, there's something called the Trojan horse. And I think we need to really be vigilant. And the education system is up to no good. And I've known that for a long time, many years. When they gave me little bubble tests to give my kindergarten students, I was like, what is this all about? This is about making money. This has nothing to do with my students. Okay. Kindergartners don't take bubble tests, but they gave it to me. We had to give our kindergartners bubble where multiple choice where you fill in the little bubble. Um, yeah, that was insane. That was in the 80s. Early 90s, yeah, 80s, late 80s. I remember the first Bush. Was it the first Bush? Anyway, um, yeah, it was pretty insane. No student left behind, no child left behind, kind of stuff like that. And they brought in all the testing. It was all for the money. It was all. It's just, yeah, it was crazy. And yeah, when I became a mother, it didn't take me long to realize that I needed to try to do something different. And I just briefly heard about homeschooling. I tried it a little bit. I after 3 months, we went back to another school. Um, went there for 2.5 years and got enough courage to try homeschooling again, and started homeschooling again, and um, loved it. Adopted the boys, never looked back, and homeschooled the whole time. So it is a journey, and uh, it is all possible. It is all possible. Look, Richard clept out of college math when he was 15, right? And 6 credit hours. Um, and German. He got 6 credit hours of German too when he was 15. We're all so excited. So, yeah, it's all possible. And our eldest daughter went to China to do uh, her little school thing that she was doing. Um, Allison, Ireland, you know, it's yeah, it's all possible. And we just need to think outside the box now because what we've been doing is not working. We're the lowest in the totem pole in the United States, and it's not working. So there's other options. Richard's case absolutely broke me. It's what made me have to start opening my eyes to what I actually served in. What an honorable soul. And what he was trying to accomplish, he just is such an incredible soul. You raised a lovely boy. Thank you. And they tried everything. And thank you for that. Thank you. We are beautifully made. I second that. Thank you. The ones in the barracks. Yeah, he's just really young and he was so excited, and then when he got there he was like, "Oh mom, it's so bad. I got to get out. I got to get out of here." He was asking for help. He was asking for help. Rob said, "Keep your head down. You got to do your time and then you can get out." But he wanted to transfer. Oh my God, that's awful and disgusting. Are they trafficked? It's like trafficking is so like they're groomed to traffic. We talked to Belen and I just cried. I just cried, you know, because you could tell. You could tell. So young. And mother of two. At that time, who knows, she might have another mother. I mean, she might have another child. Um, I was supposed to be sent to Fort Bliss in '05, but was in a serious car accident the day before, which was the 4th of July. Knew my dad passed away and was protecting me from something, but I didn't know what. Wow. And then Vanessa. And Vanessa and Richard's case, they had the same general, General Michael Xavier Garrett. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, Garrett and his family are up to no good. And they have connections that are up to no good, and it's been going on for a while. He's been up to no good for a long time. A long time. I can tell you that right now. Whatever I don't feel, and I this is just me, and I don't want to speak for the Guillen family, but I don't feel that they got total justice in Vanessa Guillen's case. And it is the same general, the same general, the same. He's bad. He's bad. And Clem Coward, they need to be court-martialed. Yes. I was telling my old staff sergeant about this case. He's stationed at Fort Dix. They've tried to cover up Richard's murder. His leadership was straight trash, in my opinion. Oh, they're totally connected to the trafficking, right? We've connected Richard's unit to the cartel trafficking. Okay, Jonathan Ambriz was 143. He's a disabled veteran. Jonathan Ambriz is a disabled veteran. Okay, and he was working in the VA. He was working in the VA. So was he working with Dallas's father after he got out for whatever reason, became a disabled veteran? And, and he's the business computer guy, right? He's the LLC, you know, um, he's the West Pointer. He's he's a smart dude. And all of a sudden, he's out on the street and they're talking trash about him, about being just a regular street conner. They're not saying this West Pointer that's a disabled veteran has been caught conning his neighbors or whatever, or a cleaning lady, right? That's not the story. They leave out that he is very educated and working in the VA, and a disabled veteran. They leave that stuff out. So they're not giving you the backup story. Most definitely your dad was protecting you. Absolutely. Veronica Escobar was, we the people are still waiting on your third party investigation into Richard Halliday's disappearance and murder. Yes, absolutely. No, she interfered. She interfered. I was a big partier and absolutely ignorant to all of this. I never felt more betrayed for a lower enlisted in my life. Richard's still doing God's work, and Team 5 Richard Halliday's sharp mind. This just cannot go quietly. No, and it's not. Look at what's happening. You've got striker units at the border. You've got 12,000 units. You've got the vice president with Tulsi Gabbard, who is intelligence. And who else went down there? Was it Pam Bondi? Was it, of course, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense? They were all there. That's the first. Pete Hegseth, that was his first stop, was Fort Bliss, and he's been back there again. So things are absolutely happening. It's heating, and they're using drones right now. They're doing all kinds of stuff. But this is, the thing is that there are innocent people in the mix of this. There are innocent people in the mix of this, and they're afraid. They know what's going on, but they're afraid. And we've had people come forward, and as soon as they found out who that person was, they were being harassed. Okay, so, and it is scary. We went through. I mean, I just can't even tell you. It is scary to be harassed like that. Yeah. So they did it. Yeah. Yeah. So there's people that are really afraid. And I think even in the unit, and they have, they, Dallas Hart's absolutely, it has been confirmed that he was in possession of film with children in the worst type of way. Okay? Um, these films were with children in the worst type of way, that he was in possession of those kinds of films. Yeah. In El Paso. Yeah. It's, and they use that against, they can use that against the soldiers. If you just mess up a little bit, let's say you're just sick of being, mandated to stay in and lock up, and you do attend a party and you might have a couple one drink too many or whatever, and you make one wrong decision, they can get you. They can get you good. And that's what's so remarkable about what happened with Richard, because they tried to set him up and they just don't have anything on him, y'all. Nothing. He is sparkling clean. And I think that that's one of the reasons why they decided to kill him. He was too clean. They couldn't get him. And that officer Carzoli and officer Melendez, they're in big trouble. They're in big, big trouble. They're in big trouble. What they did, they're in big trouble. We have their badge numbers, and we have they're in big trouble. So, but there's the Jaime Esparzas, and there's the Veronica Escobars, and there's the generals, right? There's people that absolutely have duty to oversight. There's the senators, right? The Ted Cruzes. The Ted Cruz. Where is he? Right? So we'll see what happens. Oh, cabal. Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. I don't know what that is, Scranton test. Or is that the little bubble test? It's been a long time. So many people are dying in Philadelphia of fentanyl ODs. Yeah, we were trying to get Richard declared deceased, and we have family members. And anyway, make a very long story. One, her son had a knee injury from a car accident and was taking, I think, a Percocet, right? Or an aspirin laced with fentanyl, and died. It died right in front of her. Yeah. Yeah, we've got to stop this. Yeah. And let's not forget about Asia Graham. Asia Graham. Every time I say Asia Graham's name, I have her video. I've watched her video so many times, where she's just joining the military, and she's just so happy. She's such a beautiful girl and so happy to be joining. And the same thing with Glennon Oakley Jr. the day of the shooting. That video, he's just was so proud to be a soldier. And that same group that harassed us, the same, like, I think it's the same group that harassed us, absolutely targeted him overnight. They had to shut him down. And this is the connection between Richard's case and the Walmart case. These are the same people, the Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. What was Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia's family doing with Richard's credit cards, right? And Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia's family is Jonathan Ambriz. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I've taken so much time tonight, but that was thank you so much for coming on and chatting. Please share, and we love you. And God bless. Talk to you later. Bye bye.